So, you just loaded up FM22 for the first time. Here are the best settings to make sure your experience is the best it can possibly be. Enjoy. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the top settings for FM22. Now, before we start on the settings video, if you're new around here, want to hit that subscribe button and leave a like as well. Also comment what you want to see for FM22 content on this channel this year. Got a lot of options, got a lot of time, so let me know what you want to see on this channel. Episode 1 of our first series of West Ham came out, link in the description below. Go check that out, by the way, guys. But anyway, on to our settings video. So very simple. On the main menu, all you have to do is down to preferences on the bottom right of your screen, and you go over here and you press advanced. Once you're on advanced, at the top right it says all, most common. You want to go to all, and you can see all these different settings you have depending on what aspect ratio you have. I tend to use full screen nowadays. I used to use Windows, but full screen for me is much better. You can change the resolution of what your monitor is. Of course, standard size. If you can't see or have poor eyesight, or you want the text a bit smaller, you can change the zooms here, but I leave mine at 100%. This is also where you can add skins and other face packs and badges and all that sort of stuff. Another video that will be coming soon, by the way. Obviously, you can change your language and currency here as well, and I prefer weekly wages because that's how football is in real life. Also, lower down the menu, you can go to match. You can change what your 3D graphics look like depending on what computer you have. You can change very high, medium, low, very low. To be honest with you, I haven't really noticed a difference too much between sort of the lows and the highs. It's not the most graphic intense game that you will notice massive differences, but for me, for my PC, I've gone for high. Maybe if you're struggling with frame rate a little bit, something you can put on your screen via Steam. If your frame rate's dropping quite low, obviously change your settings on that menu to lower down the graphics. Now, for me, the most important part of the settings is actually match play and what the game looks like while you're watching it. So, to go on to that, go on to match in the top right and scroll down slightly to the very bottom where it says highlights. Now, this is where you can change your camera angle and different modes. For me, on a not so important game, let me move my camera out of the way because you guys can't really see what I'm showing you here. Let me hide my camera and you can see what I'm saying. But anyway, on the bottom left-hand side of the screen here, it says highlight mode. This means how often you're going to see highlights of the game. Now, key highlights, normally the games are very short, or the shortest possible outside the commentary only is key highlights. This shows big chances, goals, offside, penalties, fouls, a little bit of build-up before the goals, and a few missed chances. Basically, the main things you'll see in this game are chances and goals. You won't see many dead plays, which in my eyes are basically good passes or good bits of possession that don't really end up to anything. That won't be there for key. For the reason I use key is in smaller games. So if I'm in Europa League and I'm facing a terrible team from Serbia and I'm West Ham, I'll go key highlights because I'm more than likely to win the game. If I'm in the Carabao Cup first round versus a non-league side, I'll likely use key because it's a waste of time to go extended highlights when you're scoring 8 or 9 goals potentially. However, when you're facing teams in big matches, say a final or a 6-pointer in a league or more important matches, I would use extended. I would also use extended when you're trialing out a new tactic or just started a save. This allows you to see how your team is performing and how to visually see if your tactic is working and what areas they're not working. And obviously, if you don't see enough gameplay, you don't know where the issues are. If you're only seeing good moments, you don't realize how bad your tactic could be. So the more you see, the more you can learn what your tactic's about. So for that, I would use pre-season games and big matches. I would always go extended. In terms of camera, my preferred, let me put my webcam on now, I'm talking about that. In terms of camera, my preferred is director. It's a varied one, so it's like you're watching telly. If they're taking a penalty, it'll be behind the goal. If you're at the halfway line, it'll be a wide angle. If you're close up, it'll be a different angle. It changes throughout the game where your players are on the pitch. Now, you can obviously change to behind the goal, 2D only, sideline, vertical scrolling, which is imagine you're on like your linesman, just back and forwards. But for me, director is the most varied, makes it the most fun to watch. You can change these during the game. So when it's a penalty, I'll always manually change to behind the goal to make sure the camera angle is behind the goal so I can see it better. But for me, director is by far the best one, like by an absolute mile. Some people like TV, but for me, it's got to be director all the day. Match speed during highlights, which is the first scrolling bar here. I have gone 1 speed above regular. Now, for me, regular is a little bit too slow. It's kind of a bit pedestrian. It's kind of like you're watching them walk a little bit. Whereas too far, they're sprinting around like hellish chickens, losing the ball, and the ball's going 100 miles an hour, and you can't even see what's happening. So for me, 1 above halfway is always the perfect speed for me. Never fouled, never will. Match speed during text only. I tend to put it all the way to the right. Basically, that means the bar on the bottom where they say goal kick or offside or foul, you don't see the actual visual gameplay for. I'm not fussed about reading what happens when I don't see it, because the stuff I'm seeing, the stuff I want to see, I'll see anyway with the key or extended highlights. So for me, that bar is all the way to the right, because I don't care about reading if someone's offside in the middle of a pitch for a no possession piece of play, really. And match speed between highlights, for me, as long as you keep an eye on the time, go to the far right. If nothing's happening and the clock's ticking up second by second, you're going to fall asleep. For me, goes to the far right for that one, and you can really enjoy the game when you actually, basically, the duration between the highlights are lesser the faster you are on the bits you don't see, essentially, if that makes sense. But that is kind of it for the settings. That's kind of all there is, essentially, in terms of replays. So you can pick, obviously, goals, disallowed goals, missed penalties, clear-cut chances, goal line tech, tight offsides. For me, the only replays I care about are goals. If you wanted to see disallowed goals or tight offsides, you can press ticks here. But for me, goals is the only thing I care about seeing on a replay. Do I want to see my player miss a penalty twice? No, so why would I put it on? That's what I've gone for. And of course, you can pick the camera replay for that. I've gone for director. Speed, now you can go slow motion if you want to see replays in slow motion, but you can do that during the replay anyway. So it's not too important. If you want to see a 40-yard banger in slow motion, you can do that during the game. If you want to see an absolute rocket go in normal speed, you can keep it to normal. So for me, I keep it as normal and adjust it during the game. But that is it in terms of the best settings for FM22. Hope this improves your experience of the game. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far a week after launch. If you're new around here, guys, subscribe and leave a like, and also comment what content you want to see coming up soon. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all later.